Hollywood feature films are viewed across the globe, consumed by people of all different cultures, and setting the standard in critically acclaimed storylines, visual effects, and camera work. However, regardless of its global reach, Hollywood is an American product, and as such, it is subject to the pitfalls of American culture and society, functioning as a mirror into the cultural divides that have plagued America since long before its founding in 1776. As a country founded through slave labor, the entire Southern American economy was reliant upon the exploitation of slaves, so much so that it split the country in two and led to 4 years of civil war. This racial-based war, driven by economic greed, is no different from the plethora of battles and wars fought against Native Americans through the 17 and 1800s to use their land for economic gain and attempt to decimate entire groups of people. This culture of racial oppression and white supremacy has been the status quo in American culture, with white privilege becoming a prevalent issue in American society. As Hollywood was established in the mid-1800s, it continued on this culture of white supremacy through racial stereotypes on screen, through off-screen whitewashing. As writers, directors, and producers of feature films were white males, when they did have a role for a racial minority, it was stereotypical and degrading, furthering the oppression of a minority racial or ethnic group. The first feature film produced by Hollywood in 1915, entitled The Birth of a Nation, was hailed as a sensation. Responsible for innovative and technological advancements in the film industry, it was a cornerstone of American culture at the time. However, its disparaging representation of Black Americans and its painting of the Ku Klux Klan as the hero of American Reconstruction following the Civil War garnered its placement as a Klan recruitment video. Birth of a Nation portrayed Black Americans on screen as good-for-nothing but subservient labor and physically abusive towards Southern whites. During this time, the Great Migration was in full swing, with more Black Americans migrating north. This representation attempted to reinforce white American supremacy and sway white audience members to oppress their Black American peers. As time has passed and opportunities have risen for more diverse off-screen creators, there have been feature films produced sharing with audience members the true reflection of racial and ethnic minorities, as told by people of the minority group themselves, allowing audience members to be reminded of the people behind negative stereotypes and see these people in a new and more authentic lens. The movie The Farewell, the second all-Asian film this year and third of its kind, written and directed by Chinese-American Lulu Wang, follows the story of the intertwining of cultural beliefs in a Chinese-American family following a cancer diagnosis for their grandmother. Not as flashy as the all-Asian feature Crazy Rich Asians, The Farewell shows audiences an honest and heartfelt on-screen representation of minorities in everyday American life. However, these feature films are few and far between. Currently, racial and ethnic minorities make up approximately 36% of the United States population and is growing. However, racial and ethnic minorities hold only 10.5% of leading roles in Hollywood feature films. This on-screen representation creates biases for viewers to believe that there are fewer racial and ethnic minorities living in the United States of America. It also forces on-screen characters to be the single voice of their entire minority group, an unfair and unrealistic situation for all parties involved. A single person can't reflect countless individuals' personalities, interests, and ways of life. These stereotypical roles for racial and ethnic minority groups in Hollywood stem from the creators of features, often white males. As the United States became increasingly heterogeneous, the original power holders pushed back through media's soft power and attempted to force minorities into lesser places in society through on-screen representation. This in turn reinforces systemic racism dating back to the colonization and creation of the United States. While there has been an increase in off-screen diversity through streaming forums, Hollywood has not jumped on board. Glaringly obvious from the 2016 Academy Awards, where not a single non-white was nominated. It is imperative for the creators and makers of Hollywood features to become more racially and ethnically diverse to allow for an honest and truthful representation on screen. Due to the deep ties that the United States has with racism, both de facto and de jure, I feel that it is important to acknowledge the control this history still holds over all groups within society. Stereotypical on-screen representation is detrimental to minority racial and ethnic groups, and in order to portray realistic on-screen representation, there must be an increase in minority racial and ethnic groups off-screen in the creation and production of feature films.